Yo, what is going on today, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today's video is based on magical ADCs and how I expect the builds to kind of change up going into this next patch. Today, actually, it should already be out. So we're going to be looking at the 4 magical ADCs, Kronos, Sol, Freya, and Olun. I'm just kind of giving a rundown what I think their builds will kind of change into. Starting with the one on top, Kronos. Didn't see any actual changes. The only thing is Nimble Bancrofts is now something I think he's going to want to buy. Gemma Focus and Conduit in the early game for clear. Nimble Bancrofts for a lot of that sustain early. Poly for that burst in the middle portion of the game. With Typhons giving you some percent pen and also round out this lifesteal. Obshard to kind of give you that percent pen that you kind of need. I was thinking either Rod and then another percent pen item. But I think going Obshard and then cooldown is the best way for Kronos to play the game. I think this is still a character that needs cooldown, so I think Kronos Pendant would be fine. I think you could also go something like Deso, but I think I would go Kronos Pendant for just a little bit more usage of your abilities. Freya, with actually a couple changes, I think with the build currently, Boomba's kind of takes over Conduit as the go-to Freya item. I was kind of in the boat of I like Conduit more than Boomba still, but I think with the build, it makes a lot more sense for Boombas because it gives you that 30% pen. It doesn't force you into going another percent pen item, and it kind of just rounds out the build really, really well. So Boombas also gives you a lot of power to kind of combo with this Nimble Bancross, which gives you more power and also more basic attack damage. Hasten for the chase potential, Typhons for the double lifesteal, Demonic for the shred, and then Cyclopean also to shred who's ever that one person that you're kind of hitting a lot. I think this build is going to be very good on Freya, and I wouldn't be surprised if she kind of jumps up a lot. Next up, Olun. The kit that actually changed the most, we'll actually take a look at the Olun changes because I think it's important to know what the biggest changes are to him. So his passive is now scaling up to 100%. The increased damage from critical strikes from 30 to 40%, and the power requirement from 10 to 12. Before it was you got 2% crit every 10 power, and it'd only scale up to 70. So by doing the math, to fully cap out at that 70%, you would need 350 power. Now it is 2% crit every 12, and it scales up to 100%. So now you actually need 600 power. So you actually need a lot more power in your build as Olun to get to that spot. With Focus Light also doing more damage the longer the distance, and then Consecration having a slightly lower cooldown. This is the build that I kind of crafted. So it's going away from the Diamond Arrow build. Diamond Arrow is still insane. It still does a lot of damage. But I think having an item that gives you power to kind of get you closer to that 100% crit is going to be better than just having your autos do a little bit more damage. You're consistent with more attack speed. It means you only need one other attack speed item in your build because your 2 also gives you a ton of attack speed. Nimble Bancrofts, Typhons, Demonic, Rejuve, and Rada Tahuti. A lot of power in the build. You got your 40% pen, or sorry, 30% pen, and then you have your Demonic, which shreds a little bit more. Rejuvenating Heart for a little bit of survivability. But I think this build will be the best build for Olun. Could I see Diamond Arrow still being bought? Yes. I just think it's more important to have more consistency with your crits than to have lower consistency, but having those non-crits and the crits doing slightly more damage. I prefer the consistency from Death's Temper. Also, that flat base attack speed, I think, feels a lot better than the Diamond Arrow. And then lastly, something I forgot to comment on. With Death's Temper, this does stack with the crit that you have from Olun passive. So it kind of like, instead of doing just 40% more, it does something like 80% more, something like that, when you have your Death's Temper fully stacked. So I think that's really interesting, and that's why I kind of like this. Lastly, Sol, another one whose build isn't changing a ton. I think all we're doing is squeaking Nimble Bancrofts into the build. I was a builder of the other Bancroft's Claw, because they give you some shielding when you were getting dove. But I think the damage you get from Nimble Bancrofts is just too much. And this is really all the attack speed you need on Sol. Nimble Bancrofts and then her passive. You have a lot of consistent auto attack damage. And then with this build, your abilities will also be doing a lot of damage. And Rejuve will kind of give you that survivability in the health department, along with your 3, your 1 for sustain, and just for that immunity. I think this build will feel really good on Sol. I'm really excited to try it out. And again, great patch notes by Hi-Rez. It makes the game a little bit more fresh as we're waiting for Smite 2. It just kind of gives us things to think about. Because I love the crafting portion of things. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.